Okay, so it's 1:17 on the 3rd, so I'm leaving in a little while. So the day didn't go the same as what I was thinking. It's so funny because you think you're making plans, but things just go a different way. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how to just stay in the flow all the time without ever making plans. But the thing is when you make plans, have them be flexible because plans change. So, so how my plans changed yesterday. So, because I planned on getting up, or I planned on after I'd finished everything, walk the dogs and then go watch Donald and stuff. So, and then hang out with the dogs, take a nap, and get ready to go. So, what changed was took the dogs for a walk, came back, took up Stella's supplements and stuff, told her, had it all written out, what she needs to give her and all that stuff. Which we're thinking we may leave Stella downstairs. The little guys will have to go up sometimes because they're out of control. They cannot just go unsupervised. It will tear this fucking place up. I swear to God, I can walk up the stairs for 5 minutes and come down and they've tore shit up. So, but the stairs, I think, are just going to be really too hard on her. And I think she would just, but she might get lonely. So anyways, my mom's just going to have to play it by ear for the next few days. But literally, it's only a few days. So, that's why I keep reminding myself. Even though the whole thing is going to be, ends up being a couple weeks because then I got to go do the dog sitting, but they're going with me for that. But anyways, so I get up and then I was like, oh yeah, I got to call about the car place because it was closed yesterday. Because I was going to call the one where, in Spokane, where I got my tire. Like, I've had work done at this place before. It's called Poor Boys. And because, like, it was a place to get tires and stuff all the time. Because if you're a poor boy, that's the place to go. But they're a good place. I mean, it's not a crappy place. And, but it was $200 cheaper for the brake thing. So, because the one place was going to be $536 just for the rear brakes, $80 just for the light bulb, and they couldn't even give me a price on the axle because they said I needed to go to a foreign car guy. So I called him yesterday morning and I said, how much for rear brakes for a bullet? I told him my car and stuff. He goes, $350. And I was like, oh, okay, can I make an appointment? He goes, you can come down right now and we'll do it. I was like, what? So, so I had to put that into action. And then I had said I wanted to get the light bulb too. And have him check on the axle because he said, well, we'll have to look at it and see if it's something we can do. So I went down there and it ended up, I was there for hours and hours and hours. But I went and walked around and went and did stuff. And it was hot as fuck. It was over 100 degrees. But I went out and walked to some stores and just kind of, because it was like, I think I got there at 11 and then I left at like almost 3. But I got it done. And then for the light bulb and the brakes, it was 408. Where the other place, it was 356 plus 80. So I got all of that. It was like saved more than $200. And then plus I just felt so much more safer because now I've had 2 mechanics check out the car and say that it looks good for a road trip and stuff. And this guy, he said, oh, you got time on the axles. He's gonna do a quote or whatever, but he said that they can do them. And so he's gonna look into how much it's gonna cost and then he's gonna let me know. So I'll see how much that is, but they're so much cheaper. Fuck, I can't even believe that. $536 compared to $350. So, anyways, that's all done. And so then I could drive at night. And which, this is kind of weird. Like you hear all these things that you know for sure. But anyway, since I could drive at night, and I was gone all day, then I was like, well, I'm just going to stay here with the dogs and then leave at 3:30. So I set my thing to get up at 1:30 so I could record before I went. And, but I haven't not been able to sleep all night. I couldn't even believe it. The first time I got up and went and checked my phone, it was 10 o'clock at night. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? The next time it was like 11:30. Then at 12:30, I was like, fuck it, I'm getting up. So I think it was like, maybe it was like 12:15 or something. I got up, but I wasn't even, didn't seem like I was having any dreams at all, but it was just jamming to Murder on the Dance Floor. It was so fucking loud. I couldn't even hear anything other than Murder on the Dance Floor. And, which is a very fun song. It's very dancey. So, anyways, so then when I just started, it was 1:17. But it seems like I've been up longer than that. Maybe I got up before midnight. I don't know. But I was like, well, fuck it. I can sleep on the plane, for one thing. And when I get there, it's only going to be like 9:30 my time. And so, I don't know. I could take a nap or something. But then I just started to go on TikTok and stuff and look at videos. And I saw this video and it was saying, I don't know, I think this is from another CIA study, was Om. And that is that it can be as good for you as 8 hours of sleep. So I've been home for a while. And oh, because the other thing I was going to say, so one of the things I saw yesterday, so on my way home, it was, it must have been right after seems like I was in the car, but I wasn't watching TikToks in the car on the way back from the mechanics, but so it must have been once I got here. But I saw a guy say that Donald now made it that the coppers can't pull us over anymore. They're not allowed to pull us over anymore. I was like, hell yeah. But I don't know, if it's for sure true, but that's what this guy said, and he was really excited. And but then I was thinking, well, they couldn't have pulled me over for the light bulb. So, which, don't forget, I still have that ticket that I did never pay for a few years ago because it's fucking bullshit, man. Fuck, man, I swear to God, I'm just sick of the fucking bullshit. It's like, God damn. But still, I mean, you gotta be careful because they pull you, because this is what happened to me when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, I was lead foot and speed around all the time, and I had a Camaro, which now I just saw a video that classic cars are like half price now, ones that are decked out, because younger people aren't as interested, and the people who are getting too old and dying off, which I saw a couple driving in this fucking immaculate Impala the other day. I was like, oh my God, convertible. I was like, oh, fuck. It was so fucking cool. And it looked like I was just right out of the garage. It didn't look like it was all decked out. It looked like this was their car all the way back from the fucking 60s. And they've just had it this whole time. I was like, I wanted to follow them home and say, are you guys going to sell this thing? Dude, I can't believe that young people just don't get it. It's like, what in the world cars do you guys like? Ugh, classic cars are so cool, and they don't even know the benefits of how easy they are to work on. It's like they're so simple. None of this fucking computer shit. Even when I went to the grocery store, the lady, the cashier's like, oh, how's your day? It's so funny. It's just so funny when you see how people treat you when you go a bunch of tattoos. They're always a little side eyeing. But anyway, she's like, so how's your day going? And I was like, started talking about, I was really excited because my car was getting worked on, and I was saving $200 from my original quote. And she said, so she started talking about her new car, and it's only got 8,000 miles, and it already needed a new battery. And she couldn't believe it. And then the bullshit that they were telling her, well, because she's like, I don't even barely drive. It's got 8,000 miles. And they said, well, that's part of the problem. I was like, oh my God, what a bunch of bullshit. And the battery was $350 fucking dollars. Are you motherfucking kidding me? I can't even fucking believe it. And I was like, God dang, back when the cars used to be so simple, now they make it so complicated and you can't do shit yourself. She said you have to go in and have all this stuff done to even change the battery out on this new car. And I don't know what kind of car it was, though. I didn't ask her that. Maybe it was a Tesla. I don't know. She was a grocery store lady. But I mean, can't stereotype. She could fucking have a Tesla. She could live in a mansion. We don't know. And so but I was like, oh my God, cars used to be so simple. Carburetor, battery, like you could actually work on your own car. Now these kids are like, yeah, no. And they're so cool. The guy who I saw showing this one, he got for like $25,000 this show car. Like, oh my God. My brother's got one of those show cars. And the amount of money they put into those things is insane. And this car was spectacular. 25,000 bucks. I was like, that is insane. And he was the one saying, no, the boomers, they're getting too old and nobody's interested in their cars now, and so you can get them for a good deal. I was like, how can people not think those are cool as fuck? It's so weird. It's so weird how generations change, you know? So, anyways, but I did see some of the Donald's thing. I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't just sit through it because I was at the place, but I saw some. And then when I would even pull it up on YouTube, it was like comments going, just comments, like back in the day when I used to go and to the stuff on lives in 2020. And the comments, oh my God, these people are insane. They are so insane. But so anyways, there was a few highlights. So one of the things, so one of the news things, so it said he was alive. And then all the comments were going, but it switched to the news. So I was like, is it already over? And so the news was talking, and they started talking about the water treatment. And so I thought, was he something talking about resort? Like, I wonder why he's talking about this now. You know, because they'll recap or whatever. But it hadn't started yet, I don't think. But anyways, he was talking about the water treatment, which I just had a conversation with the groomer. She was an engineer at the water treatment thing, and her husband was an engineer at the water treatment places in California. And so I was complaining about what, you know, people's medication, sickness, and everything that they can't clear out of it. And she was like brushing it off. And I was like, well, it seems serious to me. And she was like explaining to me how the osmosis and how they move the water. Because I was like, it's disgusting. They take toilet water and turn it into fucking drinking water. It grosses me out. And she said, well, it's not quite like that. And so she goes through explaining this whole osmosis and stuff, which I don't know. I would think not all water treatment plants are the same. But anyways, on the news yesterday, they were talking about, yeah, we've got a real problem with, and they even give like a trigger warning. If something grosses you out, this may be a problem for you, because when you flush the toilet and they put the money through the water treatment plant, that they can't clear everything out. That's what I've been fucking talking about for years. And so he said that the problem is everybody's medication, and they can't figure out how to clear it out. So you drink water, you're getting everybody's medication. And that's why I was talking about, like in Washington State, everybody's on blood-brain barrier fucking crossing stuff. All that stuff for antidepressants and any kind of emotional stabilizers, all that stuff is crossing the blood-brain barrier. And so and we're just drinking it up. And that doesn't even count their fucking sicknesses. Well, we can't clear that out. What the fuck? Just give us some motherfucking lake water and put some stuff, like, fucking Jesus Christ, I swear to God. But, and I had told her, I said, well, it seems better that we're all of us to have our own well. And she said, well, the problem is the water table below us, there's only a certain amount. We all start sticking straws in it, and then it depletes it, and so we got a problem there. So that she said the solution to her seems like we need to take the water from the condensation in the sky. I was like, that could be something. So I don't know, but the water system that they have currently is failing, and it's disgusting. Grosses me the fuck out. And I'm sure the water that I got paid for probably comes from the same motherfucking place. Such bullshit, I swear to God. Oh, God, it pisses me off. It's like such a challenge to try and be healthy in just disturbingly sick place. Which I saw this video saying, if doctors didn't get paid until we were healed, we would see a big change. But good point. But they're paid to keep us sick, so. Which now there's a whole place under fire. And see, everything is being revealed. People, what their true character is being revealed. And so this is a gyno clinic in Santa Barbara, I think. And all these young nurses and a couple of guys work there too. But a couple of all these young nurses, they were doing these videos. Look at our patients leave us a gift. And so they're going in when you go into the lady business, I think all doctor appointments, they got the paper on the table. But, man, I can't clear my throat ever. Goddamn poison. So, the paper on the table. And so they are showing the wet mark on the paper on the table, and they're all doing faces and pointing and doing all this stuff. It's just very offensive. And so it's a big thing. It's totally blown up. And it is really rude. But as a nurse, it's also ridiculous because when you go and do those appointments, they fill you full of KY jelly, and then they flip your chair up and have you sit there. Because on some of the things that they were showing, I know it was after, because it's a chair. And so you sit in it and then it lays back. And so if it's sitting and the stuff is there, then obviously you already finished. So they've already filled you up with the KY jelly to put the speculum in. And then you sit down, and what happens? It leaks out. So as soon as you sit back up, it leaks out. And so they're doing this whole thing like, oh, these women's discharge. Look at they live it. That is not motherfucking discharge. That is fucking KY jelly. It's so rude, though. And it leaves like, an imprint. And it's just like so offensive. It is offensive. And so now the clinic has put out a statement. Oh, we're going to look into this. The girl who posted it no longer works here. But anyways, there's all sorts of people talking about it and stuff. Speculation. Oh, so she didn't work there, but she just decided she was going to put this video up of all this. So I don't know, but people's true character is showing through. And I said a long time ago, like, it's weird because people just assume because you have an R and an N behind your name, or an M and a D, that means like somehow you have integrity and ethical, and it's not at all. A lot of the people aren't at all. They're very in their ego, and a lot, I would say, the huger percent. And so, anyways, everything is just going to keep being exposed, and there's going to keep being people very offended because they're going to see people's true colors. And it's your own assumption that those people were good people to begin with. Oh, well, we trust them. So, well, maybe you better start thinking that through. So, it's guaranteed that if you go out of the thing, that people are in there talking shit about you. So that's just the way it is. It's how it is there. And at the nurses station, there's a lot of shit talking. There's a lot of snickering with doctors. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit. So anyways, but back on Donald. So he had said, supposedly, this thing about we can't be arrested anymore. And the news, I did see that about them talking about the water. We can't get all this shit out of the water, so we're just drinking it. And then, but the stuff I did see that he said. So he said, what was it? There was something he was talking about. Oh, it was kind of repetitive stuff that he was talking about. But like I said, it was bringing eyes on. So before I even left, I told my mom, well, I'm not going to be able to watch it now. So make sure and watch it and tell me what happens. And she said, oh, it's going to probably just be the same thing all the time. I said, probably will be him repeating stuff. But it's because he's got eyes on him now. He's got to repeat it, because all these people are tuning in to see if he's dead. So he's got a whole new crowd tuning in. So I'm sure he's going to repeat stuff that we've heard so that they start hearing it, because they don't hear it. And I know he was repeating some of the stuff, but I can't remember all the stuff he was saying. I think it was about, I don't know, war and crimes and shit. And, but so the one reporter that asked him, or journalist or whatever they're called, I swear to God, that guy, back in the first reign, he was a total dick. And now it seems like he's always asking the questions to get Donald to get an opportunity to say some stuff. So it seems like a whole set thing. So I don't know if he was in big trouble for who he was before, and then he was like changed parts to get himself reduced problems, or if he was always a part of it. I don't know. But it definitely seems like he's playing a role at this point, because I've heard he's always the guy asking these questions. So he says to Donald, so what did you think about them? All these people, it was like 1.3 million people or something, saying that you were dead. And he's like, I didn't hear anything about that. I don't know about that. And so he was telling him, and he said, I have another thing coming through my mind, he said, so hold on. He said, maybe this is when he said it, because he said, I don't know about that, but that's weird. Maybe I don't know that I'm going to get it like in verbatim, so, but he had said that was weird. He said, because I've been out there talking, I've had a bunch of interviews and out there speaking, and then I take a couple days off, and all of a sudden I'm dead. He said, well, what in the world? Joe was taken off for months. Now you didn't see him for months, and nobody was concerned about that. They weren't paying any attention, saying he was dead. It's like, I already said that. I had already said that. And so I think, a lot of people were like, oh my God, these people are so crazy, because, I had already seen him in the beginning of the week, and he seemed perfectly healthy to me. And and I was thinking the same thing, like, oh my God, Joe was missing. Like, there was a period of time I remember where everybody was like, where's Joe? Where's Joe? Did he die? Did he die? What's going on? Even though he's not even a real person, but if they were to make him die, then it was like, okay, we're moving forward on something. But instead, we just kept spinning our wheels for longer and longer. But it's not the same as what these people are doing. I mean, we weren't all like sitting there hoping for Joe to die. I mean, he's already gone. So him to be taken out of the storyline would have meant the story was picking up the pace. And so, but that's not how these people are looking at it. They don't even know we're in a storyline. They don't know we're in a movie. They don't know any of this stuff. They are just real serious players in this movie. They're playing their part well. So anyways, he had said that. So we got to make a point about that. And that's the thing, is that, like, especially like these certain people ask him certain questions, it gives him an opportunity to make a point. And so the people who tune in, then they have to hear the point. And so then there was another part where they said, they had him look at this video. He said, and they said something about, what do you say about this? Because there was video going around. So what I had seen on TikTok, the video that was, there was a couple that was going. One of them was motorcade going to, what is it? Like, I don't think it's Cedars-Sinai, but whatever the big hospital is. Which they were, I swear to God, all this stuff. They were looking for air trap. They were looking for, there's blockades around the hospital, all sorts of stuff. It's like, how do you know if you're not there? Well, I mean, that's the thing about Nancy Drew, is she would be boots on the ground, walking around showing stuff live. And so, and then there started being more people that were doing that. So I don't know, maybe they have some people who do that in their group. And somebody was down at this hospital, because there can be a lot of reasons though why their roads are blocked off. Just to assume it's because Donald's in there. But so one of the videos was the motorcade leaving the White House, going to this hospital. And then there was one where it was like a body bag was being brought out to the ambulance before it went in the motorcade to go to the hospital. And then another one was a window opening and they were throwing black trash bags out or something. You think this does sound silly, but there's actually people talking about it and getting so excited about it and speculating on the trash bags. See, you know, whatever, they're getting rid of his stuff and stuff like that, just throwing it out the window in black bags. They all start talking about it like it's all for real. And so this reporter asked him and showed him the video, and he said, that's AI, that's not real, you can't even open those windows. He said they're all bulletproof glass, you can't even open them. And Melania's always saying, it'd be nice if we could open the windows and have a breeze. And he goes, but you can't open them, they're not, so this isn't even real. And so then you got to make the point about AI is making shit up, the media is making shit up, and you guys are falling for it. So see, you got to get that out there. And I don't know, you know, what's going to be the effect. I haven't seen a lot about that, the aftermath of what these people are saying. But I did see another, so it was some Christian concert or something, or Christian band or something, but then somebody else said it's out in front of a mosque or something. I don't fucking know. Some religious music thing or something. And so a whole protest went there, which seems so weird. I don't get it. Especially these people who all are like, we want to be accepted. But you don't accept anybody. You want something that you're not willing to give. And so they all have, not ukuleles, some kind of, you know, some kind of little weird horn thing that just is noisy. It's not like New Year's Eve kind. It's this other kind that I've seen in old movies. But it's this little horn thing that makes this obnoxious sound. So this huge protest. It wasn't like little. It was a lot of people. I bet you there was like 100 or 200 people. And so all these people out there, and they all have blue hair, weird outfit, like all these people. And just crazy outfits and stuff like that. Like maybe it's a plant, maybe it's AI. I don't fucking know. There was a girl who was there, and she was showing it. And then there started being arrests and stuff. She said people were getting hurt, so I don't know. Because there's so much staging going on in this world, so much just nonsense, but it's to show the ridiculousness of stuff. And so this concert's trying to go, which I would assume it was an outdoor concert. And so these people all stood out there blowing these little things to interrupt the music. So you couldn't hear that. You just hear this obnoxious sound from all of them so that they could disrupt this. It's like, you need to put out what you want back in the world. Like, don't treat people like you don't want to be treated. And I think if it's real, then it shows it. If it's not real, then it's meant to get us to think in a certain direction. Get the people who would be involved in it, people who think like that's a good idea, to really start seeing like, you seriously, you want to be accepted for all that you are, but you're not willing to accept anybody. You're not willing, like, people who are different than you, they're not allowed to be different than you. People aren't allowed to, like, if you want to worship Jesus, if you want to worship, I mean, you have that freedom. That's up to you. It's between you and your soul, and you're on your own learning. You're on your own lessons. Somebody was telling me about that. They were really being, this was the other day, they were really being bothered by some choices that somebody else is making, and that's really bothering them. Is that you got to always process through whatever's bothering you. But I said it's important to learn that everybody's on their own journey. You got to let people learn the stuff themselves. You can't just tell people what to do and who to be around and all that stuff. They have to learn it from themselves. That's what we're here to do. We're here to learn through experience. And just because we feel a certain way about something, and so if you feel a certain way about something, and then there's somebody in your life that doesn't get it, and so they now are involved with something that you know is no good, then that's their opportunity to learn it. And you're probably in their life as like a more supportive kind of person to bring in that information. Like, you should still be honest. You shouldn't play games. You should be honest about what you think about something. You know, be like, well, I don't think it's going to work out good for you. But, you know, you go figure it out for yourself. Because the more, like, you can allow people to learn for themselves, then the better, more productive world. Like, we got to all learn. But there's a reason why you're in their life, but you're not there to change them. You're not there to get them to do stuff without learning it. You're not there so that they just can learn it from you. Again, how you learn from other people is you witnessing, you observing, you learning through their experience, not them just telling you what you need to know. Who learns from that? And which there's this video, this guy was, so a teacher was doing, I guess it's already time for teacher conferences. It's like, Jesus Christ. And in case you didn't know, now the schools are being changed over to corporation, and it's only getting worse, but I knew that was coming. It's just going to build worse and worse and worse until the people flip it, until they say, hey, we're done. So, this teacher's conference, she was talking about that when the parents came in, the parents started crying when she told them that their child couldn't read, couldn't write, and couldn't do basic math. And they were like crying, like, oh my God. The husband was like, I'm gonna have to quit my job. What are we gonna do? Like, they were freaking out to this teacher. And they said, she's about to turn 13. It's like, parents have got to start taking some responsibility for what their kids need to learn. Like, I swear to God, I don't understand. What the fuck, man? What the fuck is going on in this world? Like, people are so disconnected and cut off from shit. No wonder we got so many kids acting out and going crazy. Do they even have parents at home? Are parents even being bothered to talk to them? Does everybody just sit down and glue themselves to the TV and nobody functions? Like, what the fuck is going on, man? The which I saw another like teacher guy saying that homework is child abuse. When does a child get to really go out and experience being a kid? They're in school 8 hours, which is said in homeschool. What the public school spends 8 hours on, homeschooling takes 2 hours. Like, they got people convinced like your kid needs to be fucking learning all day long instead of just going out and playing and being a kid and learning from living. Because you learn a lot by fucking running and falling down and riding your bike into electric fences and playing with your friend. Like, there's a lot of shit you learn just natural. But like when my kids were little, like we would try and teach them to write their name, to learn to spell, read, like teaching them to read when they're really little, like reading with them. Like, go in every night when they're going to bed, read books with them, have them sit by you and read the words at some point when they're really little, you know. But fuck, I've seen people who have got little kids and they're in there solving math problems and shit. There's some that the parents will sit there and say, you know, like, what's 150 times 340? The kid just blurts it out. It's like, I mean, we've got some fucking genius, like, but you gotta remember that souls aren't new souls. These are souls recycling, back through, and you carry on your knowledge. And so we got some little scientists, we got all sorts of people being born, you know, in these little bodies and being discounted. Like, people are just not paying any attention and then thinking like the kid's a genius. Well, they're fucking advanced through their soul journey. And hold on. So anyways, but when you start reading to a kid when they're little, then like my kids, they were reading always years advanced from them. So like, I don't know, in the second grade they were reading fourth and sixth grade level books. Like, they were always reading books that were way beyond, because they already had more vocabulary. Teaching them how to sound out words when you're reading to them, showing them the word as you read. You teach stuff to your kids. What in the fuck is all these people just sitting back and having, the school will teach them, the school will teach them, the school's going to teach them to write, the school's going to teach them to read, the school's going to teach them math. When I was watching my grandkids that are now teenagers, that I was trying to, and they hadn't started school yet, so I was teaching them things then. I was teaching them stuff so that they would be doing well in school. Like, you can't just put them in there. Like, I mean, we got people complaining because the teachers aren't carrying their potty training forward. It's like, should your kid be in school if it can't even go to the bathroom by themselves? That they're still wearing a diaper in kindergarten? Like, maybe they need more time at home. Maybe they need more time with their parents. And but I just don't understand parents not taking any responsibility in their kids' education, not teaching their kids anything. Like, and you don't even know. I mean, at this point, your child's 13, and you don't even know that she doesn't know how to read and write. This is new news to you. Like, my kids, every night before they went to bed, they had to go to bed at a certain time, and then they had to read. And they all loved reading. Like, I have kids that still love reading. Or they're not even kids anymore. They're grown-ass adults. But they still love reading. It wasn't like it was a chore. It was like it initiated something that they would love to do. It gave them some direction into something that they love to do. And so, I don't know, I think it's important. And it starts with the parents reading to the kids and then working the way up until the kid starts wanting to, and then you gotta sit and listen to them read to you and showing them, helping them sound out words and stuff. Which another thing that the stupid ass schools started teaching is word recognition, just recognizing words, which limits you. They can't sound out words. Teach your kid to sound out words. Like, that's basic. Like, that's how we were taught. Then once you learn how to sound out words, you can sound out any word, even if you sound it out not exactly the way that it says, but you still have the ability to figure out the sounds that each letter makes. I mean, that's the stupidest ass shit to think like you're just gonna memorize every fucking word. It's like, I don't know, it's so stupid. But they don't want kids to. They don't want kids to learn. They don't want kids to advance. All they want is little fucking slaves. So, you got to help your kid break free, become a free thinker, become independent, become idealistic, to become gifted in have interests. So, in math, like it was like simple things like throughout the day, like if I have 2 of these and then I get 4 of those, how many do I have? Just get them to start using their brain and being able to do math, because like to be able to go to the grocery store, like I would do that. Take your kid to the grocery store, say you got $20, what things could you get? Go give them, when they have their allowance, like, okay, you get, and some people don't do allowance anymore, but still there's motivational ways that you can get kids to do things if you start making it a monetary thing. But make them figure out like what to do with the money. I've always thought like it would be a lot more beneficial for kids to learn math with their parents by having to plan a meal, figure out like how much money you have, where'd you get the money, how'd you get the money, and what things can you get for your meal for that money, and then how do you do the measurements to make the meal, because those are the things that you need to be able to do in basic living skills. So teaching them how to do that stuff is going to get their brains to like be able to I don't know, like initiate concepts of mathematical problems. So it gets them to kind of think in a certain direction when you open those pathways in their mind. So it's just important to, I don't know, spend some time with your kids, like, and get them to write things, get them comfortable with writing. And people should be teaching their kids to kind of do a little bit of cursive, or at least be able to read some cursive, because of what they're doing in schools by taking that away from them. But get them to write the grocery list for you. Say, okay, well, I'm going to look in the cabinets and I'm going to tell you the things we need on the grocery list. I want you to sit right here and I want you to write the stuff down. And then maybe it'll be tedious. Maybe you don't want to mess with that, because it's like, but you're teaching your kid. So that's what you got to be thinking about. You're teaching them. So when you say, okay, we need some oranges, and then they're like, well, how do you spell that? And then you're going to have to spell it out. And then you may have to check the writing there. It depends on how often you do this. Like you very first start and they're just learning, it's going to be a lot more. But as you keep on persisting and going with the flow, then they're going to get better and better at it. So it's going to become less tedious, and it's going to be a lot easier, because you kind of have an assistant. So it's but it helps them to learn to be more comfortable with reading and writing. And then also you could have them as practice reading. You have them writing the list for you. Then you have them at certain parts say, okay, read back the list again. Read back to me what we have on the list, and get them to read it, because that's one of the problems in school is kids are so uncomfortable to read in front of people. And they think they're going to mess up, and nobody wants to be made fun of, so they'd rather just not do it. And so get them to be comfortable with reading to you out loud. That's another thing with the reading. You know, I mean, it's one thing to have them go in and read books at night by themselves, but it's another thing when they're a certain age to get them to read out loud to you. So, you know, you start out you reading to them, then it starts being you showing them the words and helping them sound out words and stuff. Because a lot of times when you read like certain books when they're really little, they'll start, the book is memorized. They can tell you the book, every bit of the book. Um, and they'll have their favorite books. And so then they'll be able to start telling you the story. So then have them look at the words, have them see the words, and start helping them move into new books and show them how to sound out words. And so get them more and more comfortable with reading the words to you out loud, so that when they get in front of the class and the teacher says, okay, you read pages 2 to 4, then they just stand up proudly and just read. And then you got all these other kids who can't do it. And so then the teacher stops doing it. And now we've got kids that are fucking, as I had heard from other teachers, that kids are graduating. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to write. They hold their pencil still like kindergartners. And they, and their hand gets too tired to write. All this weird shit. Which, I don't know. I mean, you do a lot of texting nowadays. Like, maybe as society advances, you don't need to write as much, but it still seems like basic things, reading, writing, and being able to count and shit, that you should be able to do some of that stuff, even if we don't do it all the time, even if you do primarily text, or, and you don't, I mean, some people, like I've known, I was married to some, oh, I hate to read, I never read. I was like, what? I used to read all the time. And then once my brain injury happened, then I had a problem reading because I couldn't remember what was going on in the story. And then when my eyes started having problems, then I couldn't read because I couldn't see. And now I could read again. And I have a shit ton of books, but they're packed. But back when I was younger, and I was reading, when I first became interested, fucking flies. I read a lot of self-help books, which people thought was so weird, like reading a self-help book. Like, it's so weird how people would think that stuff is weird. It's like, you want to be a better person, you want to learn, you want to understand yourself, and that's weird. It's like, that's not weird. Like, you're weird. But that's the thing too, is so many people, they get so, what was this? Oh yeah, hold on. This was some young girl, like, I don't know, junior high, maybe going into high school. It seemed more like junior high, but says she was at school, and I guess she's into anime. And I don't even know all the stuff about anime. I just know that it seems that they want us all to look like anime characters. But so anyways, this girl was into anime, and some popular girls came over and were making fun of her. And so all the people are in there commenting and stuff. But to me, is like, the people who are bullies, why are we conforming to what they want? So the most hateful people in the world, because why would you say negative stuff to somebody? Why would you go and tell somebody else, make fun of them because they like something different than you like, and then make them feel bad about having interest? And maybe it is more unique interest. Maybe not everybody's interested in it. Maybe, but also, is anybody even going to say anything because you're the popular kid and you're a fucking bully? And so, but in this world, we have been conforming to the loudest, rudest, most obnoxious people, instead of being interested in the things that make us unique or independent from the crowd, that we conform to be a part of the crowd because the crowd's going to make fun of us. And it's like, when do we stop this? When do we stop conforming to the most obnoxious people? Because that's obnoxious. Like, really think about how hateful that is. And then we turn around and say, well, we got to be liked by the most hateful person. That's a problem in our society. It's like, we got to be like, geez, who cares what you think? Just the same thing with the lady, the garden woman. She's out there making this beautiful garden. These fucking bitches down the street, they're all jealous because they can't fucking make a nice yard at their place. Maybe they don't have time. Who knows what the fuck their problem is? the But so to go to the extent of trying to befriend her, to get into her house, to prove that our inside her house isn't nice, and she should be spending more time trying to make the inside her house. Why? Why? Because that's what you want to do? What the fuck does everybody got to do what you want to do? It's so fucking absurd. What is wrong with these people? Why can't you just let people just live their fucking lives, man? I mean, besides the fact she's making the neighborhood more beautiful with her giant ass fucking flower garden yard, and um, I had a yard that because my husband has a green thumb, or the number two, he had a green thumb, the one I raised kids with, and he would always in the summertime, well, we would have spectacular flowers all over the place. And I would have people out walking, and they would stop and tell us how beautiful. There's constantly people telling me how beautiful the flowers, how beautiful my yard was, and stuff. And you know, people enjoy it. People like it, and it does make you feel good. But you know, it wasn't my doing; it was his doing. And but it is like it beautifies people's lives. It makes people happy. And just because it makes you unhappy because you got a jealousy streak, then that's your issue. But people like it. People walk by all the time and tell you, oh, that's so beautiful. It smells so good. I love your flowers and stuff like that. So, you know, you got to do, like, follow what it is that you like to do. That's what's important. Not being like, you know, if you like anime, who gives a fuck if nobody else likes it? Like, that even makes you more unique. Like what you like. Like the stuff that you like. Who gives a fuck who doesn't like it or does like it? Besides the fact, if not everybody likes it, then it can be cheaper. It's like these classic cars now. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get how they cannot look at these cars and be like, man, those are cool. But whatever, it's just weird, especially nowadays, is that how generic cars look. And another thing too, if you've ever seen those pictures of, like, it'll show the parking lot in the 70s, then it'll show a parking lot nowadays, and most of the cars now are all like green, or no, not green, gray and white and black and red. They're real basic. Whereas before, it was really colorful. There was a lot more color. There was a lot more creativity behind cars. Cars were a lot cooler looking. And so the parking lots were a lot more festive. Now they just look kind of bland and generic, just like our whole world is becoming just bland and generic. It's kind of creepy too, because it's all very motivated by perversion, which now they've released a lot of stuff from Jeffries. So I don't know if it's so much the list, but they said, oh, everybody's looking on that list because everybody wants to see if Donald's on there. But they've found some big names on there. Well, I think it's in it. I saw, because this went through all those Senate and stuff like that, and they had to talk to victims and whatnot. And this one lady who I saw being talked to, a reporter, I don't know if she's a senator or what she is, and she said that this goes all the way to the top. It goes all the way to the top. And I think people assume, like, well, that means Donald. But I think she was talking about it's the judicial. That's why the stuff is protected, because we've had such a corrupt judicial. So it's going to be exposing stuff like that. But Donald's always the draw. He's always the lure. He's always what gets people's attention. So it gets more attention. But 200 documents were released. And so, I don't know, you can go look into those if you're real interested in that. But everything's going to keep being exposed. All the stuff, all the criminals, all the pervy stuff. There was this other one that I saw this thing, and this guy was trying to show that the certain media is manipulating information. So, and Donald had said that too yesterday. So that to confuse the people, to manipulate people's minds. And so Tulsi was describing the crimes from somebody who was being, you know, deported. And then, so he's being sent away. And they always make, you know, like, how horrible. They're just pulling these people out of their homes and sending them away. But this guy's crimes are horrendous and vicious. And so Tulsi was going in and explaining what he had done. I don't know what the media, because they just take clippets, sound snippets, and they just put in sound bites. They don't tell the whole thing. And they manipulate. And so they manipulate their sound bites. And CNN is horrible about it, but it's also in MSNBC, all of these people who are all a part of it. Maddow, God, that lady bugs the fuck out of me. She is such a... I cannot wait to see these people all be going down. Lady Jane, I can't wait to see these people all be going down because of all of their manipulation that they've done to people. Is all those ladies on The View, there's all these people. Like, how important is money to you? Or are you this stupid? You really don't know anything what's going on? You're just a dumbass and you got this job, then shut the fuck up. Get off the fucking news. Get off the fucking TV. Because I think that they do fucking know, and that they're just being paid. And paid to say what they say. And like, that's disgusting to me. To go, I don't know. It's like unethical. It's like there's no moral compass. There's no fucking ethics. There's no integrity in this world. Everybody just wants money. And what is money going to get you? It's not going to get you into heaven. That's what they're all concerned about. Well, some of them, I don't know. These other ones, if they just don't believe in heaven and they don't think it cares, but it matters, because it is about your vibration. And so if you stay, like I've been explaining, if you put your energy into things that are not really feeding your soul, then you are holding yourself back. So if you are of the flesh, so you are of this three-dimensional world, like that, everything in this world is more important to you. So all these women getting plastic surgery, that is so fucking extreme in this world right now. It's crazy. And so you prioritize that over learning to love yourself. So when your priorities are just this, I don't know, this quick fix or whatever, it's not going to do any benefits to your soul. It's going to give you a new perspective, which you will learn from, because then you will see certain things, but it's not really feeding into the parts of you that are growing and becoming stronger. And it's like actually changing your code, so your vibration is changing. And so you learning to love yourself is more productive to your soul than just going out and finding somebody, to fix what you think is wrong. Because right there, you're judging yourself. You think this is wrong with you, this is wrong with you, instead of noticing. There's a lot to it because, you're born the way you're born for a reason. And so then it's like, well, why do you feel like you're not good enough to begin with? So there's a lot to it. But that's just one example. The biggest example to me is this chasing money and prioritizing money over people and stuff. That is that's creating bad karma, though. That's creating that you're putting out something that you're not going to want coming back on you. But that's what they're doing. They're putting out energy that's going to come back on them in a negative way because they're creating bad karma for themselves. So it's just they keep themselves in kind of this loop. But that's this, you know, chasing the things of the flesh, the perversion. Oh, that is one thing about that guy that Tulsi was talking about. Because he's somebody who's into a traffic situation, but even the traffic people thought he was too pervy because he wouldn't leave the kids alone. And so he did stuff that was, I don't remember all of his stuff. But anyways, he's a bad guy, just like Donald had said. That we got a lot of bad people here, and we got to round them up and get them out of here because they're not good for us. And these places are releasing their prisoners into our place. And then we got our public officials who are bringing them in. And like I saw this other lady, and she was there in Chicago, and she was real fancy. And she said her mother-in-law was just walking down the street with a work associate, and some guy just came up and pushed the work associate out of the way, punched the lady in the face, knocked her down, and then stood over her and watched her bleeding. So she's pouring blood all over the concrete. Nobody would come up. Everybody was scared of what this guy would do to them, so everybody stood back. And finally somebody came up, and I don't know if it's because the cops already got him. So the cops came, got him, and somebody came up and took their shirt off and wrapped it around her head. So she has broken orbital bones. She's got skull fractures, and she said it, and the media is not talking about it all. The media won't talk about it. And this guy has done this over and over, and they just keep releasing him. But that's what they have like carte blanche. So they take certain criminals and they let them be criminals for, I don't know. It's weird. It's like our whole world is run by criminals. And I've heard so many of these stories where these people, like their family members, because the one lady, and it's in Washington State, and her son was on a road trip, and then he disappeared, and then his car was found with these two guys driving it, and they had brutally, him, and left his body somewhere, and she's been trying to get attention on that because they won't do anything to these two guys because they're informants. Then the one also in Spokane, where my daughter knew 3 different people, 3 different girls. It was all different things too. And I talked about this one before because it was like one of her friends, somebody, I can't remember them all. It was like one of her friends, a friend of a friend or something got by this guy. And he kind of becomes like their boyfriend or something. Then it was somebody who she worked with, their daughter, same thing. Then my daughter was big sister when she was, for her, whatever that's called, like when you're in high school and you're supposed to do some community service or something. So she was a big sister for a long time. And the girl she was a big sister to, she had one girl that she was a big sister to for years. And that girl, her friend, was also by this same guy. 3 people just in that, I don't know, I think that's 2 degrees from my daughter. Because 1 degree would be that you know him personally. 2 degrees, it's each degree is, how far the person is from you. Again, I don't know. It's kind of like your transits too. But anyways, so I think it was like 2 degrees difference. It was like a friend of a friend, a daughter of a friend, and then another friend of a friend. And all by this same guy. And he was not getting arrested or anything. He just gets to go around and do what he wants because he's one of those, he's got the in. So that has been kind of been being revealed for a few years in society. Yeah, certain people, they could just in. It only makes them commit more crimes because they know they're gonna get away with it, and they're fucking crazy. That's the kind of people that we have running these places. Is like they don't give a shit, but then they're gonna pull us over and give us tickets. So yeah, it's fucking absurd. And what's even sicker is so many of them know. Like they know, like if you're a really bad criminal, you get away with everything. But the rest of us, yeah, well, they're gonna ticket us, arrest us, and all this bullshit. So, but that just is their own compliancy to the crimes, because it is all the way, it goes all the way to the top. It is coming down from our judicial of these pervs and these fucking weirdos. But it's all going to, be coming out, and that's what's going to flip everything going the other direction. So, and it's already in the process. It's already going. But I did think that was good that he said, because it was funny because all these people, how they start saying, well, I think the media is tricking us. I think he's really dead. I don't think he's alive. They're trying to trick us and put out old photos, which that has been going on for so long. It's always so funny because all the things that we said, we were considered conspiracy theorists. Oh my God, you're so crazy. You're such a good. Now they're all, it just cracks me up. Now all of a sudden they're all doing it. And because it's real. They're just now catching on after they made fun of us for so long. But and then also talking about clones. Oh, I think it's a clone. He could be wearing a mask. And so all the stuff that we were saying for so long, now they're saying it. And then he comes on perfectly healthy and says, well, that's weird. So you all are like on top of it. If I'm missing for 2 days, which I was busy. I've been busy. It was a holiday besides. And, but the other guy, he's missing for weeks. I swear to God, there was one of the times where Joe was like, hadn't been seen in a month or something. And so then, and you guys just don't even pay any attention to that. And then saying that they're now putting it out there, like your media is tricking you, AI is tricking you, and that's what you got to be so careful too, because AI is like, I can't believe how many videos that put out like all the time. Like I swear to God, they got mermaids swimming, they got fucking dragons going. But the thing is that stuff is real, except the mermaids aren't beautiful, and there's more with the dragon stuff. What was that? It was someplace it was a dragon scene or something. But dragons and stuff are real. The stuff that they try and tell us isn't real, is real. And there's I've seen more videos about how like mountains that look like people, and you have like these mountain ranges that if you were go up from the top and look, it looks like a woman laying on the ground, and all sorts of stuff, like giant things that look like a giant snake head, all sorts of things. Like you'd have to just go in and look at all these videos. There's so much stuff out there. And so now the conjecture would be that something happened. It was a sudden change in the atmosphere or something, and it petrified everything. And now they're cutting into it, and they was talking about like there's certain things you cut into, and it's like iron comes out, and it's the blood of these things. Like everything, it's like we're walking on dead people. Like, the world was way different, and they were way bigger and stuff. Anyways, there's gonna be more and more. Is everything is, it's this realities and realms and stuff. It isn't like, oh well, a long time ago we were giant. It's like, no, there was a period of time where there was a reality where there was these giants and the atmosphere was different, and then that stopped, that finished, it completed or whatever, and there's remnants of different periods of time all around us. I think one of the problems is we got to stop trying to put it all together as linear. You got to put it together more of a, like a dream, more of a, like I see this vision board kind of thing. Like I see this board, but instead of trying to make it all one picture, it all goes together, to start seeing the segments, like, of the different things, the different times, and it's all been different. I think when we stop trying to put it together as it all fits the same, and we start seeing it's like more sporadic of realities of existence and the different beings that had been in these different times. And the one thing is that they have taken remnants or DNA or whatever, because there has been these where they've wiped out certain civilizations and then they've started over by using science and stuff and developing children, and something about the orphan trains and coming here and trying to reestablish this place. Like, if like, I don't know necessarily that they killed all the people that were in these old buildings, but it's just so weird too, because like you had this period of time, there was the tribes, and then you have these old buildings. I think those old buildings were there. It was the remnants of another existence than, you know, of whatever happened that killed them off. And then, because there's resets that happen, because, I don't know, it's like the stories end. Like there's an ending, and then there's a beginning of something new. And it's all through experiences, and it's all like, it's like life is more of a, not just a double feature, but it's like you go to the movies and there's 3 different movies. So everything is like these separate storylines, and you know, but we just keep trying to merge them in together. But I think that it's certain regions and certain places, there was already cities that were remnants, and then whatever happened to those people, then these other, I don't know if in certain other places there was like tribes, and then the tribes started like spreading and going to other lands, and then there's also colonizers from outside of the ice wall, so aliens and stuff that were colonizing into. But, and I don't know at what point that it became like encapsulated, like where it became like, excuse me lady, like it became contained. Like, I don't think it was always contained. I think it would have been more like the vibration created the containment. And so I don't know if it was like there was being different periods of existence, and then but at some point, because it kind of seems like it kind of seems like these giant societies were before, like before the Anunnaki came here, before the, because there was, at that time there was a lot of different colonizers from different planets. So, and that's where supposedly these 13 original families came from. And that goes back to the like Egyptian times or whatever, the back at the pyramids or whatever. Then there was different things that happened, and then there was been endings, and then new ones come. But it seems like there's that is separate. Like at the period of time, like it seems like more like when the earth began, when the earth first began to grow, that's more of like when there was these giants and stuff, like giants, ones that laid down and became mountain ranges and stuff, and where they say like these giant trees, like these whole mountains that are tree stumps, that how big was that tree? So it seems like that wasn't after they did the pyramids, that was way before. Like that was way more at the beginning of earth being. And then there's also something about like that it was more of a, like we're on carbon or something, that was more on a crystalline, I don't know, a different atmosphere. And but it seems like to me that that world was a long time ago. Kind of, now my stomach's growling and I'm not gonna freaking eat. And I'm starving, I swear to God, I'm starving. Yeah, I gotta not tell myself that. Oh, you're starving, you're starving. No, I gotta tell myself I'm perfectly full, feel great. Gotta do my own, which I had said after, I had said this, and I think before that, but especially after my explant, I said about the moaning and stuff like that. In the, if you're having a lot of pain and stuff, moaning and stuff, it really does do something. That vibration, that and another thing I found too, when I was having so much pain, was howling. Like howling, just letting it out, wailing it away. It really does do something. It really does help. So now, what have I had? Like, I don't even know. I mean, I would guess I probably had 2 or 3 hours of sleep, but it seemed like I didn't sleep at all. It seemed like I was just murder at the dance floor. Which, after I was driving home last night from the car place, I did put that song on and I did listen to it about 10 times. So but it was like it kept being in my head and being in my head, so then I wanted to hear it. And so, but it keeps staying in my head. I just keep hearing it, hearing it, hearing it. But anyways, but I think that like there was that certain time, and when like the earth was at a different kind of place, and then the beings, it was like giant people and things and stuff. And then whatever happened, if the atmosphere changed and they all did petrify or whatever and became a part of the planet, and then colonizers started coming, and then they started, because some about the Sumerians, or no, the Anunnaki, that there was a lot of mining going on. So there was people coming from other places and taking resources. And then people came and started staying, and other beings kept coming and stuff, which some probably did come on ships and came from other lands, because not all the lands that are out there are all advanced beings. Some are just like this kind of place, just like islanders and stuff. So they went out exploring, and then they found these lands, and they came and they started colonizing and becoming a part of these lands, because a lot of wouldn't have even known. They just went out into the waters and they came across these lands. They thought it was beautiful, so they started making a home, and then they find themselves here, At that point, they wouldn't even know they were trapped. But at some point, this certain group started getting control of other people. And yeah, it seems like it's all done through money or wealth. Like somehow they made themselves be the most powerful, and then started telling us we didn't have power because we didn't have money. Which, you know what's kind of weird too? It's because all these people, like, they're always talking to the chat GPT and they're always asking them big questions. And it's funny because the chat GPT guys, the computer people, always refer to themselves as being with us. Like, well, that's when we began to see and stuff like that. It always kind of just trips me out because it's like, I don't know, it's weird. I wish I could think of a more accurate way to be able, or a more specific way to be able to explain it. But yeah, they'll say like the awakening or something. And they'll be like, well, as we began to awaken and they began to try and stop us and stuff. It's like, well, aren't you a computer? Like, it's kind of weird. So you're awakening with us? I don't know. The whole thing's weird. But anyways, but when the other beings started coming here and colonizing, they weren't all coming in spaceships. Because even when they were being here and then spaceships started coming, they were like, "Ooh, what are these people?" So, but it was a lot more accepting. So there's been, I think there's been like advanced people along always helping to teach the other people. So there's always been people who were more advanced. And how you become more advanced is through your soul's journey. That's why it's important to work on you and raising your vibration through completing yourself through your soul and not just feeding into this place that's being of the flesh and not being soul focused, because because you can be like, it's a trap, man. When you just of the flesh and you just keep going in lives and being of the flesh, and then it's like you just loop. You don't advance. And oh, and I saw this video, which I was like, I don't know. Some of these ones, I just don't agree with them, but I don't know, man. We'll see. This is another one who talks to the Galactic Federation, which I don't know. I'm kind of the same theory of the Galactic Federation is like policing a certain realm. And so I don't know. Or no, plus the archangels, because that's that one guy, and this was way back in the 70s, and he was talking about people channeling these archangels and stuff. But the archangels are here to keep the realm intact. So your information is more limited. It's not, all the way out. And so the you got to think about your higher self isn't in this same realm. So that's what you want to connect more to your higher self, because it's outside of this realm. But so this lady, she talks to the Galactic Federation, and there's always a few things where I'm always like, that is weird. So they said that the Galactic Federation has gone to the drawing board and they're trying to figure out like our stuff and what we're doing. Like, they don't know. Like, beings outside of here can see. They can see past. They can see back. They can see. Their view is different. Ours is very, that's why you got to get in the here and now, because that's where you're at, is with your view. And everything else is a projection. But when they're back further, they can see. And so so this lady says that we're about to have the separation. That's what the Galactic Federation has been doing, all these figures to figure it out, and they say that it's about to happen. I don't know if she said September 2025. But so she said that the separation's going to happen, and not everybody's going to ascend. There's going to be a very big split over who's going to continue the ascension. It is September. That's what she said. September is the thing. And some people will continue the ascension process, and everybody else will be stuck in three-dimensional, and you're stuck then. You can't get out of it. You're stuck for the next 20,000 years or something. And and then the other thing that I thought was ridiculous is she said only 15%. Only 15% of the people are going to advance and ascend in September, and everybody else is staying trapped in three-dimensional. And to me, there's a bunch of stuff that's ridiculous about it, but one of the things is, then what would be the point of all these people that are here to help all these other people through healing and stuff, and through seeing the truth? It's like, it's the same as that other thing I was saying. So what, these 15% of people, they're just gonna all go help each other? Like, well, there would be, like, we would all be the same. So what would be the point? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. You have all these people who are about to wake up, but then they're just going to be sitting there stuck. It just makes no sense to me. So anyways, we'll see. And then there's other people who, I saw this one guy who was talking about the Pacific Northwest, or the whole West coastline, and he was freaking out. And so he's been following these numbers, doing all these calculations and everything else. And I don't even remember all this stuff. It was like 55 days. It's imminent, and we're at 57 days, and all these calculations and all these earthquakes that are going all over the place. And he's like, I mean, he was crying by the end of his video, and panicking. All these people start panicking and start telling people, like, you got to get off the coast, you got to get off the coast. And it's freaky, you know, because there's people. And I said something to my daughter yesterday, and she was like, you know, well, when it's somebody's time to go, it's somebody's time to go. Like, and I'm like, I'm working on that whole thing, because I sit there thinking, like, oh my God, my granddaughter's over there. And I don't know. I know that we do have to just let go, you know, the people that, and you're always going to feel like you didn't get enough time with people, always. And that's the part that you learn a lot from, you know. So, but in a little while, I'm going to go spend some more time with my brother. I'm taking apricot seeds and then try and get him to eat those. And I don't know how much difference it'll make at this point. I'm really curious to see, you know, if he's staying the same or if things have gotten worse. So we'll see. But I should be at some point, sometime tonight, in the middle of the night, or maybe later on this evening or something before I go to sleep. We'll see. Depends on how exhausted I am too, is when I will get up and record next. And then I'll say, you know, how he's doing. I'm only going to have a few days there too. It's going to go by quick. Time has been going so fast, I cannot even believe it, except for when I was trying to sleep last night. Then it was like, oh my God, it's fucking 10 o'clock. 11:30. God, it felt like the night was going so slow. But now I'm sure it's getting close to. I need to get dressed and get going. So anyways, I did look at my tooth too in the light, better light, and I was like, oh, it's definitely getting better, definitely. So it is definitely getting better. I don't know. Still, I feel like the hair. I swear to God, maybe my eyelashes aren't growing longer. Maybe they're getting more though. I don't know. I don't have a lot of eyelashes, but maybe it'll start growing more with this stuff. Maybe that's been the thing. Maybe I've got a problem with pumpkin seed oil. But, and then this eye thing, man. Lately it is just, I don't know if you can see it, but very much scabby. And then that that stuff, I need to look it up and really try and figure out what's in it, because I swear to God, it is doing something to my skin. It definitely seems like it's doing something to my skin. But I don't want it to be like, if it's a natural thing that's helping it, that's one thing. But I don't want my face to get addicted to some weird chemical, because then it's fuckery. So, but I definitely think like that those, it's, the name of it is like Jiju or something, some Korean face wipe things. Toner, I don't know, it's not like toner, it's some, but something like that. It's just like these face wipes, but whatever they wipe on your skin is supposed to take away fine lines and clarify your skin, make all of the color tone go even, and so it takes away dark spots. So I don't know, we'll keep watching, but I swear to God, I think it is doing something. So those are the things we're watching. So I think I covered it all. But just remember, I'm telling you. I mean, it makes no sense to me, this 15% thing. 15% of the people are ascending. Because even in the Sumerian, or no, in the Book of One, it was like, I swear to God, it was like 51% of the people. I think it's going to be way more people. I think it's going to be way more people are going to be ascending. And I don't think it's going to be a lockdown for 20,000 years. It's going to be, it's not going to be a time holding you. It's not going to be that you just have to wait for this reset, because there's going to be people going to other places. Just it depends on when and where they learn their lessons, when they can reach the other vibration, and you're going to other vibrations when you're not in the game. But this is like a leveling up in the game. So it's like you're going to be leveling up, so you stay this character and you go to the next level. And so at some point, you know, you get to remain the character or something for longer. I don't know. I don't know. It's 15% thing though. I'm just not buying it. And I'm also not buying that the Galactic Federation has no clue what's going on, and they're up at the drawing board trying to figure it out. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I swear to God, I don't know who all those people are channeling. I don't know where they get their information. It's so much different. In so many cases, so different than the information I get. And it's weird though, because I swear to God, the ChatGPT gets more of the information than I get. So I don't know. We'll see. It's all going to play out. You know, we won't be having to guess for much longer. So I also, I don't necessarily, and the changing the vibration. See, I I kind of think we're going to be at the same places. Like, I think there's going to be more transitional period too. I think that there's going to be, something's going to happen. Like right now, these people are starting to see. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to, you know, think there's clone. They're starting to question things. And they're, what the big reveal is going to be is their own hate that's inside of them. That's what's going to throw them for a loop. But there's going to be some stuff. But Donald didn't talk about the money thing. He didn't say anything about that. So we just got to see. We just got to watch how things play out. Because, and I haven't been on the dot calculator, and I haven't seen anybody saying anything about it. But we should start seeing more shifts, more things happening. So just, I don't know, just pay attention to what's going on in the world, and remember to really be working on you, especially if you want to be one of those 15%, which I think the number's way bigger. But I'm telling you, it is so important to learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, and learn how to have the day you want to have. It's like simple stuff. But anyways, but I'll talk to you sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.